Hi and welcome back to a new video on Modern Computing School. Today we will talk about Python and how to use the module subprocess. Now, subprocess is a module that allows you to create a Python script to run other Python script or other processes. Now, this is a huge benefit of knowing when you're having a bunch of code that you need to run where you have one main file that allows you to run all of the other files, because it's kind of tedious and annoying if you were to run all of the different files after each other, right? So, and for the future, please let me know if you want to have me write the Python code as well. So I just actually created another video of this, but then I noticed that I didn't record the audio. So instead of me doing it again, I'm just going to show you the completed code and then let me know if you want me to write it out next time. So just quick showing you, we have a project here called the subprocess demo. We have a folder called scripts that contains two files, script1 and script2. And then we have another file outside of the script folder called main. So just for simplicity, this is not a huge project, but usually within developing or projects in general, you would have massive scripts or difficult scripts. But for this one, in the first one, I'm just going to say hello. And then the other one is going to say YouTube. So what my main script is going to do, or what my goal is for this main py file here to essentially run the two files within the script folder. When you're working with Python, there's something that you should know, and that is you need to import the modules that you are going to use. So you would always start your Python script with import if you're using one of the modules. And I'm using Visual Studio Code, which is, by the way, an amazing tool, and it shows you a lot of information about the different things that you're going to do, right? So hovering over subprocess, it's giving you a quick information on what it is, how it works, how you can use it, and etc. And something I also like, which is in a lot of different code editors as well, is the coloring, right? So it's easy to see exactly what is within a string, what is a function, and etc. So you would start up with putting the import on the modules. So seeing as this is, we're talking about the subprocess module, we of course need to import it, but we also need to import OS. Now what OS does is that it allows us to check for different files within the system, right? So we start off by importing those two, and then we're saying that for this variable, we want to give it a value of scripts. This is a variable that we're going to use to look for a folder called scripts. And as always, when you're working with someone else or yourself, because going back in time and looking at your own code and revising it, it's tedious and difficult if you haven't put in comments. So that's what I did here. A comment of, okay, this is the subfolder that contains the scripts that I want to have. And then for the next variable, with the comment, this is the name of the scripts. And as you can see here, we call this variable script. And then it contains two strings. The first of being script1.py and then script2.py, which is these two. And then we're putting in a saying that for each of the script within scripts, so for each of the values that we have in this variable, we want to do something. And then we need to have the script path And that is essentially saying that, okay, look for this combination of variables. So first up, scripts folder, and it's looking for the first one, that is scripts, which is here. And then it's looking for each of the values, which is here, meaning script 1 and then script 2. And for each of the variable, we want to say, when we run this in the terminal later, we want to say, okay, we are running, and then the name of the script path, right? So we would essentially see that later on, we hope to see running and then script slash script 1 or script slash script 2. Going down, we have an if-else loop. And that is essentially saying that we want to do this over and over and over again until it's done. But we want to check that if there's something wrong with the scripts, we want it to break or stop. Because when there's massive files, it could take a long time to run. And if you have 100 scripts, it doesn't make sense to run through all of the 100 if you have an error on the first one, right? So we're saying that if the return code is not equal to 0, we want to print out to the terminal window that, hey, there's an error with the script that has the issue, and then put in the code, right? The return code that we're getting. And then we want it to break. Because as I said, you don't want to run through 100 script if there's a wrong with the first one. And again, comment, it's amazing. But we want to say that, okay, but what if there isn't an issue? Then we want to put, okay, then print each script and then tell us when it's done, right? So going to the terminal window right here. As you can see now, I'm not in the correct file. So what you want to be doing is that you want to make sure that you're in the correct file when you're running the Python script. If not, it doesn't work. So you would be putting the cd and then the file path. And as you can see, we're at the same level of folder. And then you want to run the Python script, and you would run the Python main, right? Or the main.py, sorry. And here you can see the result of this subprocess. As we talked about, you're having the running and then the script name. And it's doing this for each of the script within the script folder, right? It's saying script 1, we're running it, and then we're outputting what's inside of the file. And as you remember, we put in hello on the first one, and then we're saying, oh, this didn't return an error, it's done, as we put down here. And then it's doing the same thing with the second. Running, script 2, and the value within the second script was that we're telling it to print out to the terminal YouTube, which it did, and it didn't find an error. We're just essentially saying that the second script has been run, it's done. So this is just a really easy way of making the subprocess module in Python work. And I know it doesn't look too massive and too tedious here, but when you're working with larger project, this is key to know. So thank you so much for watching this video. We will dive into this a bit more when we're creating something bigger. Thank you so much for watching.